Hello everyone, this is RoyBear22 here to bring you another review. Today I'm bringing you another figure unboxing. This time it's a little bit different though. This isn't an SH Figure Arts figure. This is a MedicomToy Real Action Heroes figure. So judging from the box or whatever, as you can clearly tell, if you have not been living under a rock, you probably know that this is Levi from the Attack on Titan series. He is one of my favorite characters, so when I saw him in this really high quality looking figure, I really wanted to get it. I didn't really know a whole lot about MedicomToy before I got this, actually. I just discovered it, and you know what, I just saw it and I had to do it, or I had to get it, so I decided to get it, and yeah, almost $100 well spent, I must say. It is a huge figure, as you can see. I can barely fit it in the camera here. But yes, quick look around the box here. We have Levi himself. We have the Attack on Titan logo right there. So yeah, there's also a sticker of authenticity. So that is a sign that it is a legit product. On the side here, we have a shot of Levi again, without the cape. And again, we also have Attack on Titan logo right there. And on the back, of course, you got Levi in action, doing his signature spin attack that he uses on the Titans. And of course, on here we have him his Get Serious face, which is actually in the show. If you haven't seen it, which you should, because Attack on Titan is awesome. But yes, these figures are pretty cool. The way they're packaged is actually pretty interesting, because you can actually open up the box. Like, you can open up and there's a little window for you to see the figure. Maybe I should actually show you the there we go. Yeah, there we go. The little flap here opens up and you have the figure inside, and you also have a bunch of shots here on the door of Levi. As you can see, he also comes with his cleaning gear. Again, another thing from the show, which is included here, which is pretty interesting because it comes with a lot of parts and pieces. And I am quite interested in opening this, because quite frankly, this is my first Medicom's Real Action Heroes figure, and these are very, very, very high quality figures. So why don't we crack him open and see what we got. Okay. For those of you who are waiting for beat 'em on videos, I will try to find some more beat 'em on to unbox and review for you guys, but for the time being, we won't be seeing a whole lot of beat 'em on content for a little bit, but I'll try to get some out as soon as I can. But you're just gonna have to deal with some other stuff for the time being. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see that, but on the inside of the box there's like the wall and sky and everything, and yeah, pretty cool. So yes, big. We got a lot of stuff here. So why don't we just set you down, get you a little bit closer. And we can look at this stuff more closely. So this is kind of like SH Figure Arts, where it comes with, you know, a stand. Most Japanese figures do. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and my God, I can see why this was expensive. So we got a stand here, and yes, a little fun fact: these the clothes for the figures are all made out of like felt and fabrics. So that's really cool, actually. One might say that it makes them more doll-like, but I mean, come on. Come on. Alright, so here's the Levi figure in all of his glory, fresh out of the box, as he is. So as we start here at the bottom here with his booties, we got his feet right here, which are articulatable with the ankle. The boots themselves are just a solid plastic, except for the brims right here, which are a flexible rubber. The straps here that go along his legs are also a more flimsy rubber. His pants themselves are a distinctive fabric from the rest of his clothes, as I'll get into later. Some of these belt pieces on the legs and waist and stuff, you know, basically around his body here, are mostly just a solid thick plastic, so they're pretty much all the same there. This little cloth thing on his waist can be partially removed via Velcro right here, but the rest of it is still stitched on, so you can't actually take it completely off. So I don't really see the point of that. I guess that's just I don't know. It's just there, basically. So if we look up here, we can also see that his jacket is a sort of like a, I can't believe I'm forgetting the word right now here, leather. Leather fabric here being used. His undershirt is also sort of a different type of like fabric here, or fleece or something like that. I don't know much about different types of fabrics, so I won't be able to tell you right off the bat, and let's not get my finger in the camera there. We also have his little handkerchief right here on his neck. We have the, right there, here if I just take him out of the thing right there, we see that he has the wings of freedom right there on his front pouch. We also have them on the different sides of the jacket as well as on the back. So, looks really cool. Oh yeah, and there's his 3D mobility gear attachment right there. So aside from that, oh yeah, we also have some joint pieces here for the 3D mobility gear as well. His head as well is also, of course, articulatable. I'd expect that. His arms move fairly well. The one complaint I do have about this figure, which I've messed with off screen, was that he's not that articulative. Like, a lot of the clothes and stuff actually do hinder a lot of movement, and there isn't a lot of a lot of poses you can do without like really stressing on the figure. So that's the only downside, but you know, what can you do? He's still really awesome. All the detail on here alone is just enough, enough. So after going on that little rant there, if I can get back on topic, that being his head is also adjustable, and you can remove the hair pieces and the face pieces and switch them out, which I will show right now. Okay, so here we have the alternative body parts that you can mess around with on the figure. So here we have his basic stoic face, only looking slightly off to the left. This is Levi we're talking about, so he really does not exhibit a whole lot of facial emotion if you've seen the anime or read the manga, one of the two. Here's probably the closest face you'll probably get to emotion, which is basically his get wrecked face, as I like to call these. So as you can see here, this is where he's going on the attack on the female Titan. If you haven't seen that in the anime, this is basically where it's from. And there goes my email. I really hope the camera didn't pick that up. If so, oh well. We also have a variety of hand pieces here. We got 8 right here, not including the 2 that the figure already comes with. But, so yeah, basically what we have here is just these holding pieces for the brushes for the cleaning Levi addition that you can add on. We also have a variety of his throttle. We have, again, his throttle saber hands here, so as you can see, these are used to hold his swords. This one traditionally. You also have I believe this is the right variation. The left one is hidden amongst here, right there. We also have the backwards hand, so you can pose the sabers backwards. And we just have clenched fist hands. Again, the other variants or left to right variants are amongst these pieces as well. I will not get into all of that, but they're there. We also have a dynamic hair piece, so you can swap out his normal haircut for a more motion active looking hair piece. Okay, so here we have probably the most coolest and also most annoying part to the figure, the 3D mobility gear. Now I say that because of course this is probably the coolest piece on the figure, one of which being, and there goes part of the gear itself, the fact that this is the staple of the Attack on Titan franchise, or one of them anyway. So it is really cool. I really like it. I do love the detail all over this thing. It looks really anime authentic, or manga authentic, well, mostly anime authentic, I guess. So yeah, it looks really, really neatly polished. All the little details are on there, all the little screws and divots and everything. The only problem I have with it is that it is incredibly flimsy. The plastic is very thin, and if you're taking this thing on and off the figure quite a bit, then you do run the risk of breaking it or, you know, damaging it somehow, because I already actually damaged this a few times. I pulled out the wire on this throttle saber here, and I actually damaged one of the hook firing mechanism things, or whatever that's called. I accidentally pulled that off when I was trying to get the whole this piece thing off of the Levi. So yes, bear in mind, you don't really want to mess around with it too much, any more than you should. So again, that's probably the only other complaint I would have with this figure, because I really do like the 3D mobility gear. I think it's probably the coolest thing on Levi or any of the Attack on Titan figures. So I really was a little upset that I accidentally broke it. Maybe it's just my negligence on, you know, handling this thing. Just watch out, is all I'm saying. And it's pretty fragile. So, but aside from that, you have the gear itself. Hopefully, if I don't drop any more pieces. But these little slots, there's little slots that carry just these tiny blade pieces. And of course, there is a spot on either side at the very far end of the, you know, holding gear that carries the actual 2 large blades, which you can also attach to the saber like so. Just like that. And wow. I think I almost broke that. See, this is why I'm not really good at messing with this stuff on camera, because I'm trying to get it all perfect and I'm rushing it, so, you know, my bad. Of course, you have these 2 firing hooks that you can put inside these little holes here on the gear. I'll show that off in a minute, so you can show off, you know, more dynamic action. But aside from that, there really isn't much else to this gear. Again, be very careful with it. It is very fragile, and if you break it, I don't know if you can get these separately from the figure, but if that's not the case, you'll probably have to buy a whole new figure for a new 3D mobility gear set, which I probably don't think a whole lot of people would want to do. So bear in mind, keep in mind, it's very fragile. Alright, so I'll just show off the functionality of the 3D mobility gear on the Levi figure. So as we see here, these 2 side boxes, or sheaths, or whatever you want to call them, storage gas things, whatever, attached to the sides of the thighs on those ball joints that I showed off earlier. The main part of the gear right here connects to the back on these 2 little spots, which you saw earlier. And of course, judging on the handpieces, you can have them hold the throttle sabers however you like. So here is just him holding a throttle saber, pronounced Dylan, jeez, traditionally. And we have him holding a throttle saber backwards. So, it looks really nice. It fits very well. You can adjust these to however you'd like, depending on how you pose his legs, I guess. They do move freely with his legs, so they don't get stressed or pulled. So that's a plus. Again, there's also these little pouches right there, if I can get a good shot of that, where you can store the throttle saber hilts. And yeah, that's pretty much the 3D mobility gear for Levi. Alright, so alternative clothing for this figure, of course, features the signature green Scouts Regiment cape. Probably the second coolest thing on this figure for me. On the camera, it comes off like a dull teal, but really it's a nice rich green. So I'm sorry about the, you know, color issue if you have one of these and you notice that. But anyway, it is a lot more enriching than the camera gives it credit for. But yes, it looks really cool. There's a little hook piece here that connects it together, so you can keep it just sitting around his neck. You got the Scout Regiment logo right there, the Wings of Freedom, and you have the hood, which of course goes over the head nicely. Now, in the seams of the cape, and even the jacket, which I probably didn't mention before, there is wire, so you can like pose it, which is really cool. So it still gives it that kind of action figure feel. So you can, you know, style it in whatever position you'd like. If he's flying through the air, or you want to pose him like he's flying through the air, then you can actually like stick the wire out like that, so you can keep it in that really nice aerial pose. This looks really nice. Like the combination of the fabric and the amount of articulation you can even put inside it, and the cape came off. It's really cool. It really does make the figure look really anime authentic. And yeah, I'm really glad I got this. And a lot cheaper than it normally goes for. I got it for maybe about $100, and they usually go for 3 or 4. So that's kind of a bonus. Actually, I'm quite lucky. But yeah, so cape aside, I will show the cleaning Levi now. Alright, so here we have Levi in his cleaning attire. So this is probably the more humorous addition to the figure, which I think is quite charming, actually. So simply put, the only thing you really have to do for this feature is remove the jacket and throw on the handkerchiefs on his head and or neck and add the brushes, and boom, there you go, you got the Levi cleaning figure, which looks hilariously funny, actually. I really do like this. Like that it came with this. But yeah, so those 2 hand pieces from earlier are used to hold these 2 brushes here, which are just basic fabric that's cut to make those little like ends there. Again, you get to see a bit more around the jacket and the more details underneath it. So you can see the little holsters here for his throttle sabers on the pouches. And on the back you can see the rest of his mobility gear setup. And yeah, looks really cool. I really do like this feature. So this has been the Real Action Heroes Levi Medicom figure. If you are an Attack on Titan fan like I am, and you like collecting the various types of merchandise, then this is a must-have, along with the other figures that they make for Attack on Titan. And I believe they make Mikasa, Armin, and I think even Jean and Annie, I think. But don't quote me on that. But yes, these are really high-quality figures. Again, be careful with the 3D mobility gear. It is quite fragile at sometimes. I managed to fix it myself while I was off camera, and I had it pretty much as good as new. And I'll try to be less of an idiot when I work with figures like these. But yes, if you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.